Coming to you from the Big Island of Hawaii, it's the Songs and Stories Podcast. And now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Aloha, this is Steve Roby from Big Island Music Magazine, West Hawaii. Today we're at the Kahilu Theatre on Wednesday Night Live.
Yes.
Comedy night, and my special guest today is comedian Justine Smith. Aloha.
Aloha, Steve. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you. It's been last June.
Been a year.
Yeah.
Here last year.
Yeah. And you brought a bunch of people with you then. Why don't we start out with kind of a brief overview of your career in comedy? Just tell me briefly who influenced you, how you got started, how long have you been doing it?
All right. I was influenced, in my opinion, by some of the greats. Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett, Robin Williams, of course, like all of those. That was my thing when I was a very young girl, was watching comedy, and it was just something I knew I'd always wanted to do. Now, I didn't actually get started in comedy until I was 44, so it's only been 6 years. I just lacked the self-esteem. I was just too afraid to get on stage, and that's really all it boiled down to. And a very dear friend of mine, Rocco Vick, who owns my bar, one day said to me, a little birdie told me that you do comedy and I'm signing you up for this open mic. And I was like, I can't wait to do it, right? And I did, and that was really, he has been so pivotal in my career as far as always offering me opportunity to perform and produce shows, and not just be on shows, but do my own shows.
Nice.
So I started producing really quickly because I got tired of waiting to be put on shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I wanna do more. You know, it was weird. I did the first one, and I was like, okay, I can mark that off, right? I've done it, bucket list done, and that's not how it worked at all. I was like, oh, I must do this the rest of my life.
But you enjoy it that much?
It is.
That you want to do it the rest of your life?
It's all I've ever wanted to do.
Okay.
Truly,
okay.
is this. And so to not only be able to do it here on the island and have everybody be so incredibly supportive, my bar, Kahilu Theatre, I was doing shows at Gertrude's for a while. There's just so many wonderful places here that have allowed me to express who I am as a person. And now I'm moving, or not, nope. That wasn't the right word. It was not the right word. I am traveling next week to Burbank because I was accepted into the Burbank Comedy Festival.
Wonderful.
So those are thousands of applicants, and they pick about 250 of us.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's a situation where agents and bookers show up to these shows.
Is that your big goal, aspiration?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it really is. I love comedy, and I also teach fitness, and I love teaching fitness, but comedy has always been my dream. So I feel like any opportunity I can, even if it doesn't work in the way that maybe I thought it might, I waited too long to go for my dream, and I'm not holding back now.
There's still time.
There's there's plenty of time.
Well, before we lose you to the mainland, can you tell me about your show today at the Kahilu Theatre?
Yes, I'm very excited.
For those who are just listening to this is it's on the main stage. It's an intimate setting, about 50, 60 tables and chairs, and a big stage for the comedians to kind of get a big debut at a large venue in Waimea.
Like, they have this is very intimate, cool comedy club vibe. Very, very cool. It was a shock to me coming in and seeing it. I'm thrilled, above and beyond. The comics I have tonight they're new, not necessarily new to comedy. I do have someone very new to comedy, but man, every time she speaks, I just want to hear more. So I was like, Lindsay Roth, she's just going to be perfect. And then AJ Iglesias has been doing comedy for a while, but new to the island. And then my friend Keith Akery, who's a chocolatier, he does chocolate on the island, also very, very funny dude. And sadly, we lost one of our performers, a very good friend of mine, Tora Hamstring, who is a drag queen, and she is outstandingly funny, but was not feeling well. So.
Well, did you tell her that last year we had somebody here on crutches that
Well, crutches is different than,
I know.
you know, we're in that space now where the sniffles can get you off of a show. So she was not feeling good enough to perform, and there's no reason to push it. So I told her there will absolutely be more opportunity to see Miss Tora Hamstring, because she is worth seeing.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, so Besides comedy, you're stepping out of that genre for a moment to direct Rocky Horror Show?
I am. I'm directing the Rocky Horror Show at the Aloha Theatre this year, which, it's...
Is this the first time you've directed a musical?
It's the first time I've directed anything? Really.
Oh.
Yeah, and Rocky is it's inexplicably something that changed my life. I don't think it's a good movie. It's not like it's a...
It's a campy movie.
It's so ridiculous and so idiotic, and I don't know how I could love it more than I do. And so when I first moved here in 2010, we went and saw it. It was at the theater, and I'd never seen it in the big theater. I'd only seen it on this tiny little TV screen alone in my college dorm room. Like, that is not how you see Rocky Horror.
No.
But it still changed my life. And so when we moved here, and I went to see it at the theater, and I was just blown away. I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And then the very next year, I auditioned, and I got in as a phantom, and it changed my life completely. Like, that became a thing where I was like, I need to be on stage. This is all I've ever wanted.
Oh, wow.
Is to be,
So that was a kind of a turning point.
It was completely a turning point.
Wow.
I had never done theater before.
Okay.
And to be on that, it just felt like home. It just felt like home.
So when is this happening?
This is this year. So the last weekend in October will be the Rocky Horror Show at the Aloha Theatre.
Aloha Theatre?
Aloha, yep.
Wow. And you got your cast and everything?
No, we cast.
Okay.
So cast is coming up.
Okay.
I should have the dates. My brain is not working. I want to say the second Monday and Tuesday in September.
So if people wanted more info, they could go to the Aloha Theatre and it'll start popping up information.
Yes, I should have that
posters.
information, and I don't.
Well, you have a website?
I do, but it's not on there.
Okay.
My Dirty
You
Girl
have
Comedy.
a Facebook page?
I do.
So follow Justine on Facebook
Yes.
and find out about the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Just got a couple last questions.
Yes.
Moving forward, you're working on bringing some bigger names of comedy to our island while still honoring the amazing talent we have here. Tell me more about that.
Through COVID, was remarkable for my career in comedy, which doesn't make sense, but it really worked out that way. So because we all shifted to Zoom, I wound up in the presence of famous people, basically. So Dat Fan, who won the first Last Comic Standing and has continued to do movies and had a very prolific career. I still do shows with him almost weekly on Zoom.
Wow.
And also Mary Kennedy, who was on Shameless. A phenomenally funny woman. I'm finally going to get to meet in real life. I've taken some acting classes with her. She wants to come out here. It's getting those types of people here. It's not always easy for us here on the Big Eye. There's another one, Kitty Pineapple, who's huge in Vegas, and she just sold out in Oahu. I'm a Kitty, you have got to come here. Like, just spectacularly funny. And we need to show that we're a place to stop. You know, people will go to Oahu, of course, and they'll go to Maui and they'll go to Kauai, and we often get overlooked.
Yeah.
And I don't think we should be getting overlooked. We have crowds to offer here, and our comedy crowds are incredibly giving. They are happy to be here and be laughing, and they're ready to have a good time. I want to show that we're a place for people to come.
And this theater, the Kahilu Theatre, has brought in Pauly Shore, J.P. Sears, and I know
BT is coming.
Yeah.
You know, and so these people do well here.
Yeah.
Do you know here? I did the Pauly Shore tour, so I went to Maui and Kauai with him. Our venue was the one that sold out. Kauai and Maui did not even sell out. Kahilu Theatre did, and we're the biggest theater.
Wow. Are you listening? Are you listening?
You hearing that? So yeah, no, it's we've got the people here for this.
Right.
But I think it's also really important to remember that everybody started somewhere. You know, everybody wants Ali Wong and Amy Schumer and the big names and Kevin Hart to show up here, but every single one of them were given opportunities before they were who they were. And that's why I like to get these people on stage, get them in front of other people so we can hone our craft, so we can get funnier. So when we do reach that level, if that's what we choose to do or strive to be, you know, we can go, hey, here's where I started.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, more power to you, Justine. Last question, I know we just mentioned it, but the place to send folks that are listening to this podcast, where should they go to find you?
DirtyGirlComedy.com.
Okay.
I'm also on the socials as Dirty Girl Comedy, and also Justine Smith or Justine Smith Comedy.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Justine.
Thank you,
Have
Steve.
a great show. I'm looking forward to it. Yay!
Yay!
Aloha!
Aloha.
Thanks for listening to the Songs and Stories podcast. Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next week on Songs and Stories. Aloha.